Hi, my name is Ronna Lurch, and I live in Everson. And to answer this gentleman's question, we know more today than we knew then. So, thank you. Most of the statements before me did not address scoping or significant impacts. There are many, many people out here in the audience with questions, and I'm asking them to hold them up now. Those people will not be allowed to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you to ask you to include the following impacts of the proposed Gateway Pacific Coal Terminal. Because each molecule of water and air is connected to each other, I'm asking that you expand the scope of your environmental impacts to study the impact of this project on the planet. With this broader scope in mind, I ask that you study the impact of how many tons of carbon dioxide will be added to the Earth's atmosphere each year from this shipped coal. After studying how many tons of carbon dioxide will enter the Earth's atmosphere from this burned coal, I ask you to study the impact that this release of CO2 will have on the global temperature of our planet. Given that CO2 is taken up by water, which then leads to acidification of the water, I ask that you study the impact of this acidification on the ability of creatures living in the sea to survive. I ask that you study the impacts of coal dust from the mountains of coal to be stored on site. I ask that you study the impact of runoff from the local site on the added mercury and acidification of local waters in terms of survival of the local species, namely herring, which is already threatened. I ask that you study the impact that the coal terminal's massive demands on the public utility district's water means for agriculture and for the city of Ferndale. Finally, let me say that the fossil fuel industry has gone rogue. Their business plan is to wreck the planet for as much short-term profit as they can muster.